I don't know about you, but we seem to be more anxious these days about everything, isn't it? It pervades everything. Anxiety about the future, anxiety about security, about money, health, work, relationships, even anxiety of whether I'm enough. And in a world like this, the risen Christ speaks a very simple and a very unsettling message. In fact, a question. He emphasizes what I might be anxious about. Things are scarce. I'm worried. And he asks, where can we buy enough food for all these people? It excavates the issue. It's unsettling because it exposes how quickly we default to fear and calculation. In the gospel, the problem is obvious. The crowd is huge, the resources are thin. 5 loaves, 2 fish. Not even close. And Philip does what anxious people do, what I do. He calculates, he measures, he concludes it's impossible. But Jesus isn't asking for a feasibility study. He's inviting a different way of acting. A boy steps forward with what he has, small, ordinary, inadequate. Sounds like me. And here's the Easter pattern. Jesus takes, gives thanks, breaks, shares, and abundance appears. Not before the sharing, but through it. He receives, gives thanks, breaks, and shares. Is this my attitude to what I have? Small, inadequate, to receive, give thanks, break, and share. Jesus doesn't remove the crowd. He doesn't reduce the need. He doesn't magically make the problem disappear. Instead, he transforms the response. That's deeply important for a world anxious about everything. Easter doesn't promise a life without stress. It offers a life not ruled by fear. The miracle begins when they stop asking, is this enough? And start asking, can I trust him with what I have? After all, it is really from him. The first reading from the Acts shows us what Easter people look like. The apostles are threatened, beaten, warned to keep quiet. This is not a safe environment. This is not good for mental well-being by modern standards. And yet they were rejoicing. Why? Because Gamaliel names the deep Easter truth. If this is of God, we will not be able to stop it. That conviction changes everything. If my life is about God, if this is about God, anxiety shrinks when we realize that the future of our lives, the future of the church, the future of the goodness in the world, does not rest on my control, but on God's faithfulness. So what can this mean for us today, for you today? In this age of anxiety, maybe it's inviting us to a new way of acting. To offer rather than to hoard. To trust rather than to obsess. To share rather than withdraw. And that really requires me to realize that I'm not the one in charge. And maybe that's where mental wellness in an age of anxiety can be. Because It's not just about calming techniques, it's about who I place my ultimate trust to. And if this is to the risen Lord, then I know that it is His will. Can I let go? The boy didn't know his lunch would feed thousands. The apostles didn't know that their witness would change history. But they acted where they submitted and realized it is not theirs, it is His. He has overcome, and therefore I can be confident. Easter faith does not ask us to have more certainty, it asks us to have more courage. The risen Christ still stands before you, before me, in this anxious world that I live, and asks, what do you have? And when I look, receive what I have with gratitude, break it open, share, however small, but because it is done with Him, God's abundance quietly takes over. Jesus does not remove the problem. The crowd is still large. The need is still real. But fear no longer has the final word. And therefore, let's not pretend that because it's Easter, I do not have any stress or struggle, but rather I offer my life. My anxiety doesn't get to decide everything. Where my life with Him is one in which decides everything. And trusting God, I live Easter. After all, He has overcome death. Why should fear control my life? But rather, let Alleluia control my life. Let us share, break open, but always with gratitude, even in the little that I may have.